Hi, welcome again. So in this video we are going to learn something about very basics of Python coding, and in our previous video we have just learned how to install Python on Windows machine. Now in this video we'll learn about the concatenation and comments. Actually, if you want to ignore something or write something in the code itself but want the compiler to completely ignore the line, then you can comment that line. Let's say, for example, here you want to type something so that it works. Let's say hello world, so you know that it works, right? But at the same time you want to know that you want the compiler to not to do something about this line, then you can have this hash in front of the line. Let's say this is my first program, so this is just for the developer as a node. Maybe this is for yourself, you as a developer, or for other developers in a team. Let's save this one somewhere. Let's say test test.py. Okay, so let's run this one, and you'll just see that the line where there was no hash was executed, and the line where hash was written was not executed. Okay, this is the comment. Now about the concatenation. Suppose you want to join two different words or sentences, then you can use the concatenation. Let's say print hello. Let's say these were two words, right? Hello world. You don't have to do it. You can always merge these two, but still, like, there was cases where you have to have these two separately typed, but then later on you have to join them. Then you can use this plus sign to concatenate. Let's say, okay, another way to do that is using comma. In Python you can use this one too. So see, but there's a subtle difference. If you use comma, then there will be extra space printed, and if you use plus, there won't be any space included. Let's say, let's use a variable called name. So what is variable, I'll talk later on, but let's say name is let's say George, right? And we have to say that hello George. We have to print hello George there. So what we can do, either we can do this hello comma name. Name is the name of the variable. See, you can do that, or you can simply say hello plus name. So you can see the difference. If you, as I told you earlier, if you use comma, then there will be space included. If you use plus, there won't be any space. So the next thing that we can do is, like, we can always use integers as well with a string. Let's say there was a variable called a's, and somebody has input 40 or let's say 25 in the a's, and we have to write next year you will be 26 years old. Okay, next year is equals to age plus 1. So if we just write next year is, then it will be 26. But if you want to join it with another thing, with a statement, or then you can do like this. Next year you will be plus next year is plus years old. See, here you see the error message. So what you have to do is, in this case, if the integer, there's an integer and there's a string, you cannot concatenate those two just by joining them or using plus sign. What you can do is, like, here you can use str command. Okay, I'll retype this one, copy this one here, and you can use a function called str, which normally converts an integer into a string. So this is a string, this is a string, and it was integer. Now using this function it is converted into string. Now you can join all these three phrases. So the next thing we are talking about is variables. Variables are temporary workspace in memory, and they store certain values so that we can use, manipulate, and later on discard it as we run the program. I have already used variable here today, but let's do this thing again. Let's say, like in algebra, we say, like, let's say x holds a value of 20, and then y holds a value of 4. Then we can multiply that using x into y. So what is x here? X is a variable, and I've just named the variable x or y to work. So you can see, like, instead of directly using 20 into 4, we can always use that naming convention, which makes it a lot easier. Not only that, a variable can be reused again and again throughout the application. We can use variables just like numbers or strings. The only difference is that it can be changed again and again and used again and again throughout the program. So I'll use some mathematical operations, simple basic mathematical operation with variables. Let's say we have number A, that is 45, and number 2 is, that is B, is 10. Then we can do all sorts of mathematical operations using these two variables. Let's say instead of typing 45 plus 10, we can type A plus B, which is 55, and we can do subtraction, A minus B, right? A into B, that is A asterisk B. In computer programming, we use asterisk for multiplication, and if you don't know about it already, and we can divide. Now I want to show more use of variables. Here I'll use a variable called name. The name of the variable is name. Let's say it's a person name, all right? Person name. And then I want user to enter the person name or his name or her name. Let's say this. And the user will get the name. It's not practical, but let's learn it that way. Okay, you'll like, the name is Aljabat, and we can directly show that here. You can as it is in interactive mode, you can just print the person name directly. But if it's in a program, from a program, you have to write like this. Okay, hello plus person name. What it will output is hello, the person name, right? So let's do another thing, like let's ask for a person's age. Person is P is equals to input, enter your age, and if the person writes 25, then we can say your age is plus age, person age, right? So this way we can use the variables, but later on we can use the same thing to change the value. Let's say P is equals to, we can directly change it using a hard code method like 30, like this, you know. And if we use this one, because it's showing this, maybe because it is not converted to the string from integer. Sorry. Yeah. So what string does, str function does, is like it changes the integer into the string. This one, why it didn't happen here? Because this one takes input as a string. That's why it didn't have to be converted back to a string. But here it was an integer, that's why it had to convert it back to a string. Let's do it again. Is if we have to perform arithmetic function in this one, enter your A's, what will happen? Let's say the person entered 30 and you have to write something like, because next year A's will be base plus 1. Her A's will not remain same for next year, so it will be plus 1, right? So see, because as I told you earlier, this one is in string format. It's in string, so you have to first, before doing the arithmetic operation, you have to convert into integer. So we can do that by simply using a function called int. So that will be 31. Now if you directly print it, it's fine, but if you want to print like this, next year your A's will be plus next year A's, it will generate error, because as I told you earlier, this one is integer and this is string, so it won't match. So either this command plus will try to concatenate two strings, or it will try to add two integers or two decimals. So what we have to do is we have to convert integer into string. So again, I'm using this function. See, you can convert it. So we have learned how we can use variables in a programming language. Now we'll do a simple interest calculation using the variables. Let's say p equals to integer input, enter the principal okay, the principal was 5,000, let's say, and time equals to enter the time, and time is, let's say, 12 months, and rate of interest. And rate is, let's say, 8%. Now simple interest will be principal into time into rate, all divided by 100. So simple interest is, so again we have to convert that to string. Here it goes. So as you can see how we use the variables in Python programming language. So this is all for today. We'll cover in the next video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe, like and share the videos. Thank you, and please watch our next video. Thank you.